Hello, welcome to our YouTube video. Today, we'll focus on creating charts to answer some business problems. So the question or the problem we'll be dealing with today is centered around package delivery. We have a question and then three basic things that we need to answer from the question and create a chart so that the business managers could use it to make some informed decisions, right? So the question says, Red Sky Delivery performs last mile delivery services for online retailers such as Amazon. Red Sky employs delivery drivers who perform the last mile of delivery service by delivering packages to individual residents and business locations. Red Sky measures several delivery driver performance metrics, including number of delivery stops completed per 8-hour shift. When we say the table below, that's just basically our data file. So I have that data file in Excel, and it's in our GitHub page. I would also put a link to the data file on the YouTube description. So please take a look at it there, and feel free to practice and create your follow along with us. So this is how the data looks like. It's just a summarized data, very small, right? So yeah, so it provides the data, basically provides the delivery drivers. So these are the names of all the delivery drivers, the average number of deliveries they have done per shift, right? So the first question there is asking us to create a column chart, right, to display the information we see in the Excel file. And then we should format the column chart to best display our data, right? And the chart title which we use is comparing Red Sky delivery drivers, and then we should have the vertical axis as average number of deliveries, and then basically make sure that we clean the chart we've created, right? Basically just declutter it. So we'll go ahead and see how we could try to create this first chart using Tableau. So the first thing you want to do is import your data. So I'm just going to go Microsoft Excel, delivery, import my data. And we could see that data. So here we just have only two columns or two features, delivery driver and average number of deliveries. So delivery driver is basically discrete, right? Or we could say qualitative because it's all people's names, right? It's a text row data. And then the average number of deliveries is basically a continuous data, or we can say quantitative data. So you can see here, this is measures and this is discrete. So go to sheet 1. So we need to create a column chart that basically highlighted it in red. So you know what we have to do there, right? A column chart. So basically all we want to do is take delivery driver, drop it on columns, and then take average number of deliveries and drop it on rows. So this is basically what your output is going to look like, right? I like to expand on this and just say fit to width so we can see it a little bit better. We could reduce the size of the bar charts if you want by just clicking on size and just reducing the size a little bit, right? And then the other thing the question says is use a chart title of comparing Red Sky delivery drivers. So just to prevent me from having to copy type so much, I'm just going to copy that, double click on the sheet 1, which is the chart title. Okay, what happened? I see. Okay, we'll show you on my other screen, just paste that there. This should be I like to use Tableau book, make it bold, and put that on the block. Right, play that. So comparing red sky delivery drivers. The other thing I want to do is that we have to take out this x-axis because the question also says we should put data labels, right? Add data labels that show the average number of delivery stops. So if we put the data labels, all of this axis becomes redundant, and we really don't need it. So what I would do first is come back here and just say race perfect. It is make this a 12, example, and then we could take out show header, right? So that basically just takes out the y-axis, right? And then maybe the other thing we could do now is come over to label, click on label, click on show max. So it's going to show all of the averages for us, right? So that's why we don't need that y-axis anymore, because if you have the y-axis, then it's just kind of like redundant. So it doesn't make sense for us to have it. So now the next thing we'll go ahead to do is just format the whole table in terms of the font. So I like to put it at 12 and then put it at black. We could bold it too, or maybe just take out the bold and have it this way. So now one thing I must mention is normally we would have to take this delivery driver and put it down here on the bottom side of the x-axis. But when you're dealing with discrete variables, Tableau does not let you take the delivery driver. I think to my knowledge, Tableau does not let you put this in the bottom. So by default, it just puts it here. So the only thing we could do is we could hide it, right? But we don't want to hide it. So we could just leave that there as delivery driver. So I think if anybody is able to figure out a way where you could take this from here, if you're doing a column chart, right, take this from here and put it down in the worksheet without going into do it in the dashboard, right? We could do that in the dashboard and it would just be like really quick, but we haven't. I'm not looking at dashboard, I'm just looking at the worksheet. So I think, so this is basically how to do it. And then the last format we need to do is to take out all of the grid lines. So come over to rows and then none. So all the grid lines are away. And then the other thing I like to do is to just put some, yeah, I just basically like to have that, right? So it basically differentiates the names from the bars. So I like to have that and just make everything look neat. All right, so this basically answers the first question here. We've cleaned the chart, we've made it look very easy to read. And you can see each of the drivers and the number of stops they make per shift. So now I'm just going to create a second sheet, right? In this second sheet, my goal in this second sheet is to create a similar graph like this, but use a bar chart, right? So instead of a column chart, use a bar chart so that we can show the x-axis and show you how that is done, right? So let's go to sheet 2. Now I'm just going to say my delivery driver, instead of putting it in columns, I'm going to put it in rows, right? And then my average number of deliveries, I put it in the column. So it's going to look like this. So let's do fit height, right? So to look like this, you can see now we have the average number of delivery stops, right, on the x-axis, or this is kind of like also the y-axis. So, and then we have the delivery driver there. So I'll just come back here, I'll copy what I did here so I don't have to do it 2 times. Here. This time I don't need this one. I'm just going to say apply, click OK. And then, so we're still going to put the data labels, and then we're going to take out that. So let me show you. If I put the data labels, so you can see we have the data labels. It just makes the numbers everywhere, right? So, and then we still have it on the axis here. So we have to take out the axis one and make everything look very neat. So what I want you to do is click on it, click on edit axis, go to tick marks. Oh no, before that, let's modify this a little bit. So average number of deliveries, shift, okay. Then you want to make this none on the major and also none on the minor. So that takes, you can see immediately I did that, it takes out the what's it called? It takes out the numbers on the axis there, so we don't have that. So we can have a very clean bar chart. All right, so the next we would do is, let's try to format this and make it look neat. So go to format. No, yeah. So you want to go to rows and then make the headers to be on the left-hand side. And then let's go back here. Make this a 12 and bold. And then we could maybe just shift this a little bit so that we can get some space there. All right. So shift that a little bit and get some space there. And we could bold it if we want. Yeah, we could bold it. I don't think that should be a problem. And then I like to make, let's just make everything 12 and that. Yeah, maybe, you know what? Let me not bold it. Pick out the bold. Okay. Now we also have to address the numbers. So let me go to sum this, right? Alignment. Oh no, sorry. Let's go to this. Alignment, make it in there, right? So go to your label and then go into alignment and make it left. Then come back and go into font and let's make it white. Then maybe we can bold that one, right? So remember we read from left to right. So now that it's bold as well, so you can easily just say, okay, Amy had 92.87, her average number of deliveries per shift. So that there is basically how we can convert the column chart to a bar chart. Oh, one last thing, let's clean it up. So format, let's take out all of those grid lines. So none, the grid lines are away, and then we could put the, yeah, so the axis ruler. I like to still have that. Okay, so that's it. So that's basically how we do it for the bar chart. Now let's head over to taking care of question 2. We're done with part A. Let's work on part B. So part B says create a sorted column chart to make it easier for the audience to see which drivers have the highest and lowest average number of delivery stops per shift. So I think what we would do is, because we're dealing with column chart and not bar chart, so I'll just delete this one. Shouldn't have created it. So duplicate. I'm just going to take it to the end. Rename that to 3. Right. Basically, all we have to do is just create a sorted column chart, right? So the original chart, it's not sorted, right? So we need to sort it from high to low. So basically from the highest person, which I believe is 154, to the lowest person, which is 87 deliveries, right? So all you want to do is, you see here, it says sort ascending, and then this other one says sort descending. So if you just click on it, it sorts it ascending. If you click on the other one, it sorts it descending, right? So we want to use the descending one. The other stuff we could do is, you see like when I hover around the delivery driver, right? You can see that it has that that bar there that says descending, right? So that's kind of like another way we could basically try to sort it descending or ascending. All right, so now we see that Grant basically has the highest number of deliveries, right? And Cam Madsen has the lowest number of deliveries. So I do like to put like a caption. So right click and just click on caption. And then I like to just kind of give like a summary of what. Keeps going to my other screen. I don't know why. All right, so let's just say Grant. All right. So just a simple summary. So manager, when she looks at it or when he looks at it, can just get like a quick idea of what the chart is saying. So, all right, so that's that for us, right? And we're basically done. The next one, the final one says, further investigation by Red Sky indicates that all of these delivery drivers except Amy have similar delivery routes. Amy typically delivers in more rural areas, while all other drivers support more urban routes. Red Sky wants to draw attention to the fact that Amy's routes are different than the others. Modify the sorted column chart by changing the color of the column associated with Amy to indicate that this column is different from the others. So basically what it's saying is that we have to apply some sort of color to the chart, and we could maybe make Amy's column maybe a dark color and make all the other ones a light color, something like that. So that's basically what we're doing. But in order for us to do it, I suggest if you're using a Mac, I think you can just hold Control, or if you're using what's it called? If you're using a Windows, you could also sorry, a Mac is Command, a Windows is Control, right? And just hold it and then drag this out, drag the delivery out and put it in color, right? That's one way you could do it. Or another way would be just take the delivery driver here and drop it in color, right? And it basically shows you a color for all of the columns. Okay, now I'm supposed to create I'm supposed to duplicate this. So I'm just going to duplicate that and call it sheet 4 because we're using it to answer the different part A, part B. So take delivery driver, place it in color. We have this. You could either click on color here and say edit colors, or you can come over to the card here, right? The color card here, and then click on it and say edit colors, right? It's still going to bring you to like this same page. So what I would do is just highlight all of these drivers without highlighting Amy. I would go to automatic, blue. We could use blue or whatever color you want. So let's say we can put them in like very light, right? And leave Amy in that dark blue. I think I could still make Amy's own like really dark. So blue and just make it like really, really dark. So it kind of like stands out. So, all right, that's we don't need the caption for this one, so we could take white card, right? So this is basically how we can create a column chart and highlight certain should I say bars in our column chart to basically bring attention to a particular variable. So in our case, we're bringing attention to Amy, right? Because she runs a different route. And so the management could basically use this chart to make whatever decisions they need to make with regards to Amy's route. So we could hide the card. So we use the full screen. All right. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like the video.